Hello, fellow members of the Midnight Society. Welcome back to another episode review from the show Are You Afraid of the Dark? Last time, we covered The Tale of the Dollmaker, a Betty Ann story about a dollhouse that turns children into porcelain dolls. Tonight's narrative, also from Betty Ann, is about a babysitter who teaches children lessons through, let's just say, devious means. Submitted for the approval of the Midnight Society, I call this Season 3, Episode 6, The Tale of the Bookish Babysitter. We open on Sam carrying wood to the fire, which causes Frank to react thusly.
That's okay, I got them.
Babe, they're way too heavy for you.
They're not.
They are!
Yeah, Sam. Besides, nobody handles wood like Frank.
Hey, watch it, man!
Frank tells Sam to stop trying to be such a guy all the time, and, well, I feel like her reaction is appropriate.
You're right.
Gary and Tucker arrive, with Tucker addressing Frank in a way that is just begging for a violent response. Oh, come on, Frank, you don't have to kill him, but at least bruise him. Anyway, Tucker heads over to Kiki and Betty Ann to ask a rather stupid question.
Hey, what's that, a book?
Well, I think we found my new favorite clip of the entire series. Sorry, Frank.
Hey, watch it, man!
Betty Ann says that her story is about stories. She says that when telling stories, there's only one thing that makes it truly scary: your imagination. And, you know, production value and budget, but sure. Imagination. Which probably means we'll have to imagine that this episode is scary.
No way.
Betty Ann says that if you're really into a story, you start to imagine that you're part of it and wonder what you would do if you were the one facing the monster. Well, that's easy. I would just follow the rules.
There are certain rules that one must abide by in order to successfully survive a horror movie.
The tale begins with Betty Ann giving some exposition about how Belinda is everyone's favorite babysitter. Apparently, she likes to sit for kids who hate babysitters, so she's either a masochist or a violent sociopath. And, you know, since it's a Betty Ann story, she's probably both.
Okay.
That kid's waving, but he's seen some shit. He knows what's up. Also, Belinda, Hot Topic called and they were wondering if you were going to make it in today for your shift.
Whoa, easy. What's with the personal attacks?
As Belinda is leaving, she drops a book on the ground which falls open. The sound of screams can be heard faintly coming from inside the book. Oh. Well, she's a witch of some kind. Tipping our hand a little early, aren't we, Betty Ann?
Sorry, hands off.
We cut to our main character, Ricky, watching TV and eating a big bowl of chips. His mother... Sorry, this is Are You Afraid of the Dark? His single mother is getting ready to go to work and informs Ricky that the babysitter will be arriving shortly. Ricky whines about having to have a sitter because he's 12 years old, to which his mother replies,
Please don't be too hard on her. Not like the others.
Not like the others? Wait, so we have a sitter who likes to torture kids going up against a kid who likes to torture sitters? I cannot wait to see what kind of sick shit these two do to each other.
We are going to read some books. I'm not reading any more of your stupid books.
Oh. Well, I'll just take this excitement and put it away for another episode.
I'm cool, bro.
Belinda arrives and Ricky's mother gets a little weird.
Wasn't expecting someone so what?
Yeah, so what? I know I already made the Hot Topic joke, but aside from the dark hooded cloak, she doesn't really look all that strange. And you're in Canada, where the cold weather comes from, so I think her her wardrobe is justified. Ricky's mom asks Belinda what her secret is, and she says it's that she has imagination. Well, yeah, all the best ones do to lure in their prey. A candy cottage in the woods? Come on, brilliant! And if Belinda isn't supposed to be a witch, then tell me why she cackles so much.
Sorry. Have fun.
Ricky's mom introduces Belinda to Ricky, but he's having none of it, resulting in...
He's going through a phase.
Oh, I'll fix that.
Ricky's mom, maybe he doesn't need a sitter after all. Especially one that's going to sacrifice him and replace him with a pod person. Whoa. Okay, clearly this episode's getting to me. I'm starting to let my own imagination run wild. After Ricky's mom leaves, Belinda tries making some small talk with Ricky, admiring the sword on his t-shirt, but he isn't interested in getting to know her. She gets the remote away from him and turns the TV off. Ricky then tries to get the remote back, resulting in...
How did you do that?
Because she's a witch, Ricky. Or You know, one of the first street magicians.
You got the seven of spades in your magic. Take right here. Open. Let me see. Let's go.
Belinda makes Ricky an offer he can't refuse.
You read a book for a few minutes, and I'll leave you alone the rest of the night.
Oh, sorry. I was just trying to do the math on how much product is on her head to make those hair sickles. Anyway, Ricky's no fool and asks how long he has to read before committing to anything. Belinda says 5 minutes, and Ricky reluctantly agrees, starting to read one of the books silently. This results in...
Aloud, please. I like to hear them.
It's a trap, Ricky! Everyone knows reading aloud is what conjures evil, so unless you want to be raped in the woods by a tree, you will keep your mouth shut.
It was late on a dark, moonless night as a wild storm raged across the moors.
Okay, tree rape it is. I'll go get Bruce Campbell and a chainsaw.
Groovy.
As Ricky reads the book, strange things start to happen in the room, but he doesn't really notice them. He gets bored quickly and stops reading, much to Belinda's disappointment, though she does convince him to try another book by saying,
Do it!
Booyakashaya! Say it with me, you know you want to. Anyway, as Ricky reads the second book, the weird happenings take a turn down creepy lane.
Yet now all was silent, all was still, as if the very memory of these dreadful events continued to haunt the Mel.
Unfortunately for Belinda's plans, Ricky gets bored again and stops reading once more. What does she do if she encounters a kid who just won't read? No TV until you read one of my books. Okay, I'll be in my room. Later. No, wait! Oh, come on. I'll bet LeVar Burton doesn't have to deal with this crap. Ricky reaches for a third book, but Belinda snatches it up and says that he's not ready for it yet. Ricky's had enough and goes to his room, but on the way, this happens. You hear a door open and close in a house that's supposed to be empty? You call the cops. The killer is inside the house. Once in his room, Ricky hears someone enter, but he doesn't check to see who it is until they're right next to his bed. He sees a medieval knight in full armor who proceeds to take the slowest sword swing of all time at him. Now, in all fairness, the Tin Man probably just needs his oil can. Anyway, the swing misses Ricky, but decimates his pillow, resulting in... I believe the word you're looking for is shit. I forgot, we're censored for YouTube. Damn it! Wait. Why was that one okay?
Sorry.
Ricky runs into the hall, only to encounter... Well, I'd say that things have escalated rather quickly. Ricky makes it back to Belinda, who seems rather calm about everything. She tells him that the knight and the ghost came from the books, and destroying the books will make them go away. That's not Belinda, is it?
Use your imagination!
What in the actual f***? Which book featured a meth head? Belinda and Ricky escape to the kitchen, where Belinda explains that Ricky is now in the stories that he read, and since he burned her books, he now has to use his imagination to finish the stories if he wants to escape with his life. So he does.
Weird stuff happened, then it went away, and they lived happily ever after.
I mean, rather anticlimactic, but I gotta give Ricky props for wrapping that up nice and neatly.
Sorry. That is cheating.
What do you mean cheating? You told him to finish it, so he did. Any other rules you'd like to make up as you go? Anyway, the meth head breaks into the kitchen, so Ricky and Belinda retreat to the basement. You know, the safest place to be in a horror situation. Once down there, Belinda asks Ricky what happens next, to which he says,
They ran down to the basement, where he kept his Uzi. Yeah, his Uzi!
another practical solution for the situation from a smart kid. So, I assume Ricky goes all Scarface on the meth head and we call it a night? Oh, sorry. Getting a call. Hello? Ooh, it's the writers. Yeah. What's that? This is a kid's show and an Uzi will absolutely not be appearing on screen? Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, no, that's fair. Hey, look, I gotta get back to this. So give DJ my love. Okay, yeah. No, yeah, we'll grab lunch next week. Yeah, okay. All right. Yep, ciao. Belinda says that Ricky's Uzi ending doesn't make sense for the story while consulting her forbidden book of made-up rules. Ricky demands to see the book and Belinda finally gives it to him. Ricky begins flipping through the pages and finds himself transported to a crypt. The book appears to be empty, with Ricky's actions appearing on the page as he does them. Okay. Now look, I know it's not going to happen, but I really want this crypt to belong to Count Sean from The Tale of the Dream Machine.
Good evening, Jennifer. I am Count Sean.
As Ricky reads the story aloud, he says that the walls to the crypt are unscalable.
I guess that means forget about climbing them.
Well, sure, you can't climb out, but you can jump out. Don't think I didn't see those shoes you're wearing. Now pump those bad boys up and let's dunk on this crypt, Jordan. Although, you are more of a Larry Bird type, so forget the whole plan.
No dunking.
The knight from Ricky's bedroom appears again and proceeds to slowly chase Ricky around the tomb. The book says that the knight is the protector of the tomb and waits for a sign, which just happens to be the sword on Ricky's shirt. Huh. With the sword now in his possession, the book states that the bearer of the sword would now be charged with protecting to the death. Ricky isn't keen on the idea, but I'll tell you what, my 12-year-old D&D playing ass would have been in heaven. Bring on the meth witch so I may smite her! A little girl appears asking Ricky for help, stating that she's lost. The girl asks Ricky to put the book down and help her. But, Ricky, please tell me you haven't forgotten what happened the last time someone didn't want you to have the books. Ooh. Ooh. At least we don't have to deal with that anymore. Not since Bobcat Goldthwait lurking under a little girl's bed have I been more disturbed. Ricky trips over the armor and falls to the ground. The meth head starts screaming at him, so he picks up the sword and... What in all that is superimposed was that? That has to be one of the worst effects I've seen on the show. Anyway, the meth head turns into a puddle of Nickelodeon slime, and a section of the Legends of the Hidden Temple set slides open to reveal the Tomb of the King. Ricky learns that the ghost from the hallway is the king, who is trapped under a spell by the evil sorceress. Ricky's reactions to the revelations are, let's say, mixed in quality.
All right! And he was no longer doomed to wander the earth. Yes!
Ricky then kneels to present Gandalf the White with the sword, but the way the scene is shot, it looks like Ricky's a mile away from the guy. The scene transitions back to the living room where Belinda is reading the book aloud and Ricky is unwittingly acting it out. Ricky snaps out of it and asks what happened. Belinda tells him that the story is almost over. She hands him the book and he reads the ending. Ricky's mom arrives home and sees him reading a book. She's quite shocked by it and says that she doesn't believe it, resulting in...
We were just reading.
Yes, that's the part I don't believe.
You see, son, I never taught you to read. Ricky's mom notices his name on the cover of the book. When she points this out, Ricky questions if everything he just experienced actually happened. Belinda says that it's just a story. Oh, you cheeky bitch. You can't magically mess with a kid's mind to teach him a lesson and then pretend like it never happened. Who do you think you are? Some kind of demented Mary Poppins?
I'm Mary Poppins, y'all!
Ricky's mom asks Belinda how much she owes her, and Belinda answers,
I've already been paid, Mrs. Winter.
I'm telling you, the real Ricky is still trapped in that book so she can feast on his soul, while this newly reformed Ricky is just one of her pod babies. Anyway, the story ends with Betty Ann giving some narration.
Ricky searched all over the library, but he never found another copy of The Dark Tomb by Ricky Winter.
What the hell is that soulless clone looking at? It's making me uncomfortable. Oof. At least I can rely on some Midnight Society shenanigans to wipe that image from my memory. Betty Ann ends her story, but Tucker demands to see the book she brought. She tells him that he's way too young for it, resulting in...
The book that the beautiful and intelligent Betty Ann held in her hand was grabbed by that stupid little jerk Tucker, and you... Hey!
Dude, really? She just got you last time with the doll and you fell for this too? Also, good thing he started reading 3/4 of the way down the page, or else this gag wouldn't have worked at all. I'll tell you one thing. I want to know who Amory is and why they wanted to feel William Dayfield 1864. The episode ends with Gary putting out the fire, and I guess the smoke machine was on the fritz because there is a delay from when the fire goes out to when the smoke emerges. But when it does, they set that thing to high.
I don't sweat, Doc. There's always another night.
Now for the review. This episode is pretty good. It had a little bit of everything. Fencing, fighting, torture, revenge, giants, monsters, chases, escapes, true love, miracles. Where's that The Princess Bride? I'm always getting those two mixed up. Anyway, the idea of a book coming to life is a fun one, and having to use your imagination to survive is clever. I think that a lot of this episode works, with only a few budgetary restrictions holding it back in just a few areas.
Yes!
The settings were fairly weak in this episode, with most of it being spent in Ricky's house. I did appreciate that they used multiple rooms to break things up a bit, and while the crypt was a good finale set, it did look like painted foam. I think what took away from each location for me was the lighting. The crypt especially was so brightly lit that it really showed off the imperfections. A dark lit set with fake torches would have looked much better.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the story here a lot. Rewatching it conjured up a lot of memories of other things that I enjoyed as a kid. The Princess Bride, the Never-Ending Story, playing Dungeons & Dragons, and my own experiences making up stories to entertain myself. The writers were smart to choose a ghost story for one book so that they could include some classic Are You Afraid of the Dark scares, while choosing something more adventurous for the other book so that Ricky can take his hero's journey.
Hey, what's that, a book?
The scares were a mixed bag, but I think they worked more than they didn't. The early moments, where we would only get a brief glimpse of things, worked really well, but by the end in the crypt, I found it more laughable than scary. That being said, younger me would have had some legitimate frights from this episode, and if he ever found himself in Ricky's position, he would have written himself in a girlfriend.
Man, you're the strangest.
The acting in this episode was fair. Ricky has a lot of weight on his shoulders being the only kid in the episode. Sorry, but I'm not including the lost little girl. Ricky was believable as a pompous little brat, and for the most part does well throughout the episode. He does have a few reactions that I found pretty silly, and while not his fault, they sure did like him yelling. The adult acting in this episode was also decent. The meth head brought real intense energy to the role, and they were downright unsettling on screen. Also, I apologize for calling them the meth head, but they're not listed in the credits anywhere, so they shall forever be known as the meth head. Ricky's mom was also fine, but she's just not really in the episode enough to judge thoroughly. Belinda is where I'm torn. Now, don't misunderstand me. I don't think my issues are with the actress. I think it's the way the character is written or directed. I just didn't care for all the laughing and the over-the-top mannerisms. Again, that's not on the actress. She played the hell out of the role. I just didn't personally care for what was presented.
Wow! You must be extraordinarily, amazingly mature.
Betty Ann, I know that I wasn't really on board with your last story, but the tale of the Bookish Babysitter does meet the approval of the Midnight Society. The Midnight Society members poll on this episode was probably the most in favor I have ever seen, with only one person out of all votes being against. You continue to hold the title of Best Storyteller, Betty Ann.
I have imagination.
I want to thank the following Midnight Society members for participating in this video's poll. Fortunately, I have them all recorded here in this book. Let's see. Alice, Ray Fizzle, Joe, Lisa, Eric G, Joel, Jessica, Brooke, Sarah R, Lisa, Nikki, Steve H, Louise, David, Eric S, Tommy, JM, Rhiannon, Tara, Adam, Nicholas, Laura, Seneca, Carrie, John, Edna, Jonathan. Am I the only one hearing that? It's probably just my imagination. Okay. Jonathan, Lauren, Carson, Jason, Chrissy, Megan, Allison, Sarah A, Eric M, Becky, Adam, Kaylin, TDIMHCS. Congratulations, you broke my mouth. Steve C. I'm telling you, I'm hearing something. Steve C, Boppo Screw, Wrestle Recap, and Brandon R, Klaatu, Barata, and Nectar. I don't think I'm alone here. Give me the book! What did you all think of Betty Ann's story? Did you see it as a kid? How would you have imagined your way out of Ricky's situation? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to check out the next episode about the tale of the carved stone. Until then, are you afraid of the dark?
Hey, what's that, a book?
Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a like and a share. Be sure to subscribe and click that bell icon to be notified when more Midnight Society episodes go up. And we've got some other cool nostalgic shows on the channel, so stick around because you might find something else that you like.